What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another episode of the Funnel Vision Show. I'm your host, Mikel Dia, CEO of Funnelytics, and today's episode is no different than every other episode. It is going to be jam-packed with value because today we have Brian Ahmadi, who is the CEO of Maximum Profits Agency. And Brian has a really cool journey in terms of how he decided to start an agency, what he does for clients, and we're going to dive into that throughout this episode. So Brian, thank you for being on.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me on.
I'm excited to dive into a lot of your journey, what you decided to do, and how you get clients. But as we do here at the Funnel Vision Show, we always start with your not so humble bragging rights. So in other words, what have you been able to do for your clients? What have you been able to do for your own business? Why should people listen?
So basically, something that we do for our clients that we really pride ourselves on is basically taking over their entire marketing aspect when it comes to their business. We take over all their social media and we just take a big load off of their back. And then when we do it for them, we make it look easy, but the reality of it is it's a lot of work. And then something that we're even doing for our own business is we just went from 3 employees to literally 30. But with that, we're teaching every single person how to run their own agency while working with us. So it's really humble for myself to know that, hey, any of these guys can go start their own agency tomorrow, and I know that they're going to be well off because they have all the systems in play.
So you've done a really good job then looking at how to systemize the agency, how to basically bring on clients or bring on team members that can then run and operate the process. You went from, you said just a handful to now 30. And you, when you say you handle all of the marketing, tell me, what do you mean by that? What aspects, what don't you touch and what do you touch?
So top to bottom, we basically touch everything from, let's say, a simple Facebook post all the way to making a billboard advertisement for them or filming a TV commercial, for example. That's what my co-founder is doing. He's in Galveston, Texas with a roofing company. He's managing a commercial filming for them that they're doing today and tomorrow. So we have stuff like that going on.
We're going to dive into the nuances of that because a lot of times you speak to agencies and you realize that the more they take on, the harder it is to grow, the more broken things become because you're juggling so many different things all at once. So we'll talk about how you've been able to manage that. But first, let's take a step back. Let's understand your agency journey. How did you get started? Tell me the ups, the downs.
A hectic journey to say the least. But where me and my buddy started was I was in the military from 2016 to 2022 with the Navy, the USS Ronald Reagan. And we always wanted to make more money. We didn't want to be really content with where we were at. So what happened was we got together and we said, hey guys, what can we do? And we stuck to the Navy stereotypes of tattoos and drinking. So we said, we went to the bars and we started saying, hey, we'll run all of your social media for you at $1,000 a month. And these guys looked at us like, no, that's too much. So after a little bit of negotiations, they said, hey, we'll pay you $500 a month and free drinks every time you and your buddy come here. We said, awesome. We put our hands up and we started doing it. And we started noticing that when we were giving this deal to people, they started picking it up hand over fist. And bars started talking to people, bar owners started talking to one another in group chats or whatever it may be. We started getting calls left and right. And then, unfortunately, with the military, the amount of work, the amount of deployments that we had going on, we couldn't really keep it up. So we dropped the whole idea and we gave up on it for about a year. Once we all got out of the military, we got back together and we said, hey guys, let's do it again, but this time in the civilian world. And then we all said, screw it, to say the least. And we all end up getting a house together. We rented a house. We were all living together, constantly working 24/7. Cold calls, cold emailing, walking down the street and talking to businesses in person. Just things started to pick up from there. And the reason that we handle all around marketing nowadays is because we noticed that's what people want. They don't want just Facebook management, just Instagram management. They're like, hey, no, I want this entire load off my back. So we're like, okay, let's see what we can do at an affordable cost and we can still make some money off of it.
First and foremost, it's crazy to think the U.S. Navy to now a marketer. That's a interesting journey, to say the least. And a bunch of you. How many people were living in the house at the same time?
So it started out with six of us, and then it narrowed down to four. After four, one of our other guys dropped because he got married, so he had to go live with the wife. After that, it was down to three, and now the three of us are still together to this day working.
Wow. When did you guys start it?
We started it in 2017. We worked on it for 2 years to 2019, and then we gave up on it for a year and started it back up in 2021.
Wow. Okay. First, thank you for your service. I'm not American, I'm Canadian, but it doesn't matter. It's impressive that you decided to do that. And man, what an interesting journey. Okay. You went from these $500 a month clients and drinking and enjoying that. And then now all of a sudden, where are you at? Like, how does it work right now? If you're doing full service, three people, you got a team of 30. Walk me through some of the operational stuff.
So operational wise, like we start out with like cold outreach, but that's not a big thing I focus on. And I've had my mentor go down my throat about that one. He always says, hey, no, you need to get on your cold emailing, cold calling, and so on. But I tell my team, hey, I'd rather you just go in person because that's what worked best for me and my co-founders was when we were just sitting in a small town, when we walked into businesses with a laptop or an iPad or even our phones and we just showed them, hey, this is what we can do. Give me 30 seconds of your time. Just go about your work like it's a normal day, and I'll film you a quick 30-second reel and let me know how you like it. And I'll put some music behind it. And this was a little cheat code I used. I would take 5 or 6 pictures, a little 5-second video, and I'd put it on TikTok in the templates. And then I'd just save the video and I wouldn't post it and I would just show it to the guy right there. And he's like, damn, it took you 5 minutes to make that? That's crazy. And I'm like, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, it's just TikTok. But you got to think most business owners nowadays that are on their feet are what, 32, 33. And then I'm a 23-year-old kid. I just know how to scroll through social media and take advantage of TikTok. So when I did that, to them, it's this mind blowing thing. But to me, it's okay, cool. It's just social media. So that was the biggest thing that we started noticing was when you show people in person, you don't have to deal with as much rejection. And if you do have to deal with rejection, they have to say it to your face. It's not just a click of a button on their phone. It's not just, hey, I'm not going to respond to your email. It's you're in their face right there. They have to respond to you one way or another. So when you're having that conversation, you can be more endearing also.
First of all, I somewhat hate you for making me feel really old right now and making me at 33-year-old not knowing how to use TikTok. I'm 38, so let's let's be honest, I don't know how to use TikTok. I don't use TikTok. So you're right. You're right. That being said, I love the approach though. I love the mindset because the truth is everyone is okay, hey, we need to build funnels for to get clients. We need to do cold outreach. We need to set up these massive outreach email systems to get clients. And you're like, you know what? No, let me step into the bar or the whatever the local business is. Let me show you what we can do by just doing it for you for free in the next kind of 5-10 minutes. And now it's a question of whether or not do you want us to keep doing this for you to showcase your business. And I think it's super powerful when everybody else is doing something else. So what do you do when it comes to the actual business model? How do you have 30 people and those 30 people all run their own agency? Are they basically just running their own book of clients? How does that work?
So it's not really they're running their own book of clients. It's more of I teach them how to run their own agency. And then once that happens, because let's be real, you have two types of people in this world. You have the people that like following and the people that completely hate following. I only employ the types of people that they don't like leading. Stress is a killer for them. But me personally, I enjoy stress. From the military to now running my own business, I absolutely love it because it drives me to do more. But most of my employees, they don't like it. They absolutely hate stress. So they like having the ability to come up to me and be like, hey, Brian, I have this issue. Can you help me with it? And I'll be like, yeah, come on, sit down next to me. Let's figure it out. But I'll teach them how I figure out the issue So if it comes up again, they can do it on their own. So when they have that power or that knowledge or whatever you want to call it, they have the ability to go out and say, okay, I want 10 clients this month. They know exactly what to do from top to bottom without a single issue. So when that's happening, it's easier to teach that to these people so they stay within our company. For example, a good thing to talk about is our hiring process. We tell people, hey, we're not going to bring you on full time, part time, or salary. It's fully commissions only for the first 3 clients that you bring to the business. You have to bring us 3 clients. I'll pay you out of commission from their retainer. And then once you bring those 3 clients, I'm going to look you eye to eye and say, is this what you want to do? Because some people, they just work a job nowadays because they need the money. They don't work that job because they like doing it or they enjoy it in any way, shape, or form. I've done it before. So it's
Just to ask you on that. So are you saying that every one of your employees is actually also a salesperson?
yes. So every single employee has the ability, and I require them to have the ability to sell. We don't have only email marketers or only cold callers or only salespeople. Everybody has to be able to do everybody else's job.
Interesting. So how do you keep the standard across the business? How do you make sure that John versus Samantha are approaching it very similarly or delivering the same types of results to your clients?
That's the thing. I don't want them to be similar. John might be better at walking into a business and saying, "Hey man, how you doing? I want to sell you this marketing package. Let me show you what I can do." And Samantha might be better at copywriting 700 emails a day and sending that. So I'm not going to tell Samantha or John what to do. I'm going to tell them, "Hey, you have A through Z. You have A through Z. These are your options. Pick one, become a professional and do that." I'm not going to tell them, "Hey, this is what I want from you. These are my requirements. Do this or get out."
Okay. So then what happens if Samantha's a really good copywriter, but like you said, the client wants full service marketing? Who goes and does the social? How does that now work?
So how that would work is, let's say Samantha goes ahead and she closes a client via copywriting emails. She copywrites the email, has a Zoom call, closes the contract, gets payment. And then she looks at me or John and says, "Hey, I have no idea how to manage their social media. What do I do?" That's where John, myself, or any other employee would sit down with Samantha and say, "Hey, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, this is how you do it." And we would teach her, and then she would eventually grow that skill to be able to do it. So it's more of, you come into this company with maybe 1 or 2 skills. The goal is when you leave this company, you're either going to run your own agency or now you have all of the knowledge to do it.
Interesting. It's a very unique approach that you've laid out here. So, in other words, if I have my own client, I'm Samantha, I have this copywriting client. They also want social media, they want paid ads, maybe they want a new website. I'm not going to work with John or somebody else on the team. I'm going to learn how to do all of that.
Yes. So what's going to happen is you would get that client. You already know how to do copywriting, so you can fulfill that aspect of the contract. Now, let's say you need help with the social media and paid ads. Great. You'd say, "Hey, John, Brian, whoever it may be, I need help with social media." We'd sit down with you for the beginning. We'd run you through the beginning areas of it. And then we say, "This is just the fundamentals. This is the foundation." Once we've taught you the foundation, it's up to you to improve upon that because everybody has their own ways of doing it. For me, when we run a paid ad, we're targeting a very specific town, sometimes down to even the street that we're targeting. And then other companies will run it and target the entire state. So it really depends on how you want to do it. So I'll tell my guys, learn your client and learn yourself. If you know that your personal way of doing things, you're not good at targeting streets, you don't get results that way, awesome, then don't do it. Go start targeting states or countries. If you get better results that way, then that's what you need to do. The only thing that I manage above everybody else are the prices and the packages. Those can't be changed, but they can be negotiated upon per client. But usually our clients don't even want to negotiate it because they don't really know what they want until it's introduced to them.
So your pricing and packaging is decided at the top level. So you basically have a website build is 5 grand, social media management for Facebook is a grand a month, et cetera, et cetera. And then your team, which really to me are almost like mini agencies within your agency to some degree. They're like solo agencies within your agency. They go and look at your list of packages and they say, okay, this client will need this and this. I'm going to put together the package. I'm then going to charge them through your Stripe or whatever it is. I get a commission as your employee?
No, so as the employee, I always give my employees two options. Do you want to work off of commissions or salary? That's up to them to pick when they join the company. Some people like salary, benefits, and all that. Some people just want commissions and they can manage their own finances. That's up to them whenever they join the company.
Interesting. It's a very interesting model, and you've been able to grow it to 30 people.
Yep.
That's really cool. So, if you were to summarize this into a playbook for how you're building your agency and how you're growing it, what are the components to that playbook? What are the steps, or how could you summarize into a playbook?
The best thing is find people that you can trust.
Okay.
Like the one motto that I've always gone against when it goes to business is don't work with family and friends or don't mix personal and business. I completely hate that term because every single person that works for me was a family or friend before I even started the business. And the only reason I do that is I know I can trust them. I know if I go 6 feet under tomorrow, these guys will take over my business with full efficiency and there will be no issues. And I know they're not going to just liquidate the entire company. They're going to keep it going, whether it be for sentimental value or for profit. So I have people that I can trust. I know I can disappear for the next 9 months, come back, and my business is still going to be up and running.
Okay. So that's part one. Yeah, find people you can trust. Okay. What are the next components?
Find the type of people or the selling that best fits you. So, like me, it's in person selling, like I said earlier. I'm better when I'm in person. If I was to try and sell somebody over Zoom, let me be honest, I'm not going to get the deal. I will struggle, stumble on my words. I won't be able to maintain eye contact because in the back of my head, I'm looking at a camera. I'm not looking at a person. So I can't do it. I'm terrible at it. But some of my other guys are fantastic at it. They love doing it. But they'll stumble and stutter whenever it comes to in person. But for me, it's, hey, bro, I know we don't have a deal yet, but let's go to the bar and grab a drink. And before we even start drinking, I'll be like, okay, so what do you think about the deal? I brought a copy of the contract with me. And I know I can sell that way. So I guess if I have to give advice to anybody, it's find what way fits you. If you like being an introvert, get good at cold emailing and cold calling because then you never have to talk. Cold emailing or cold texting or DMing or just Facebook ads, get good at something that doesn't have to do with people. If you're a very social person, get good at talking to people. Learn how to veer a conversation left or right, whichever way you need it to go.
Okay. So step one is find the people that you trust. Step two is make sure that you play in the lane that you're comfortable with and that you understand. Is there any other steps?
After that, it's structure your packages. Because I noticed at the beginning, before we ever did that, it was so complicated to be like, okay, we're going to build a website. How much does it cost us? How long does it take us? Whereas right now, I meet a client and within 10 minutes, I know which package and how much their stuff is going to cost. So I can close the deal same day. But before, it used to be I met a client, I had to go through every little nook and cranny and do a full diagnostic of their business to even get a remote price. And when I was doing that, my prices were so far off, my net profit was close to nothing. But now that I've actually sat down, calculated, and made packages for everybody, my net profit went from like a 10% to now I'm at like 62%.
Interesting. Okay. And so ultimately, step one, find the people that you trust. Step two, make sure that they stay in their lane and they know what they're doing is comfortable. Step three is have it clear packages and offers. Anything else that you feel like is system around what has been your success?
Last step would just be get to it, get to work. Honestly,
Like this.
they're literally get shit done. That's it. It's just that people love to keep talking and talking, but they don't do anything. If you want to refer to Shia LaBeouf, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nike.
Get to work.
Exactly. That's what I say to people. Are like, what do you want to do? I'll just Nike it. That's it. Okay, cool. Last question for you. This has been super interesting, super insightful the way you approach your business. I could tell that just your non-traditional path to business has also created a non-traditional agency, which is really refreshing to see and really cool to see. What is your number one best? So we ask this to everybody because we're all marketing nerds. We love to geek out on tactics. What is your number one best growth strategy, growth tactic that you would be like, any business, this thing works?
Okay, so let's see. Any business, it works. Take risks. If you're not going bankrupt every 4 years or about to go bankrupt every 4 years, you're doing something wrong.
Okay.
It sounds crazy. I know that. It sounds absolutely insane. But that was something that I heard from a mentor a while back, and it was more of, I guess the message behind it is take risks. Don't get somewhere and be content.
I see what you're saying. So basically keep pushing yourself. If you want to grow, you got to keep pushing beyond your limits and your zone of comfort.
Like when we first, so far, every 10 employees, when I reached 10 employees, my overhead was insane and I was barely making profit. And then about 6 months later, we were hitting a good amount of profit again. Then we hired on another 10. And then the same thing happens. Our profit went to close to nothing and then we went right back up. So we kept taking that risk, but it just kept paying off. So I buy a property, goes down, goes back up. I buy this, goes down, goes back up. So if you're not willing to take the risk, then I would just tell people get content and stay there. But if you're willing to take the risks, you are going to grow infinitely.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. If you want to grow infinitely, you have to take the risk. Doesn't mean that if you take the risk, you might not grow because you may fuck up during that risk. There's no doubt. Yeah, but man, that was really insightful. Very cool, Brian. I really enjoyed this conversation and how, again, you've built your agency. Where can people learn more about you?
So you can just go to maximumprofit.net. And then on there, you have my biography, my co-founder's biography, and you can find us on there. Or even go out on Facebook or Instagram, Maximum Profit _1 for Instagram, or Maximum Profit Marketing Agency on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time. And yeah, we'll connect soon.
Yep. Connect soon, man. Have a great rest of your day.